Hello everyone, welcome back to Greybrick Creations. My name is Michaela and today I'm going to be creating a sweatshirt for a friend of mine who is getting married soon. I'm going to be embroidering the collar with her new last name and I'm going to be adding the wedding date to the sleeve of the sweatshirt. So come along with me to see how it turns out. To start this project out, I went to my local craft store and picked up a plain white sweatshirt. I was a little bit worried about just getting a white sweatshirt, but to go with the bridal theme, I'm going to stick with just white. For this sweatshirt, I am going to be putting the last name around the collar of the sweatshirt and then the wedding date on the sleeve. And I originally thought I was going to write the last name on with one of my friction pens, but I quickly realized that that wasn't really going to work just with how loose the fabric was. I couldn't get a nice straight line with the friction pens. So I removed the friction pen writing and decided I was going to go ahead and use some of the dissolvable embroidery paper. Before I printed the name on the sticker paper, I wanted to make sure I got kind of the curve of the collar correct. So I printed it on some regular yellow paper. That's just what I had extra laying around. And then I cut it out to see if the curve looked correct. This looks about right, so I'm not going to make any changes before I print it on the dissolvable embroidery paper. I also printed out the wedding date just to make sure the size looked about right for where I am placing it on the sleeve. That also looks good, so I'm going to keep that size for now and go ahead and print onto the embroidery paper. This white sweatshirt really showed everything, so I tried to lint roll it before I started embroidering on it. And here you can see I'm just going to be cutting out the pattern I'm going to follow that is printed on the dissolvable embroidery paper. Now I'm going to be cutting out the last name so that I can get this stuck on the collar of the sweatshirt. Now that I've got the pattern on the sweatshirt, I'm going to be picking my colors. For this specific project, the wedding colors are like a nice light purple, like you can see here. So I am going to be using a similar color to embroider the last name onto the sweatshirt. I am going to be using this color for both the last name and the sleeve, so I want to make sure I get enough string on my holder so that I can continue using it throughout the project. I am going to start with the last name on the collar of the sweatshirt and then I will move on to the sleeve later, but for now I'm going to get a hoop in place so I can start embroidering the last name. For this embroidery project, I am using all 6 strands of floss for this section of the project, and I'm going to be doing a back stitch, and then I'm going to actually turn it into a threaded or looped back stitch, where I'm actually going to go back through and thread the floss through the back stitch that I've already completed. You will see that here shortly. So now here's the part I mentioned earlier where I'm actually going to go back through and thread the floss through the back stitch that I've already created. This creates a smoother looking stitch versus kind of the chunky stitch that you see when you have just the back stitch. I have stitched some lettering on some previous projects, and I've been trying to experiment and see which stitch I like best for lettering, and I definitely say this looped back stitch has been one of my favorites so far. I just think it makes the lettering very clean and makes it a bit more readable than some other stitches I've tried in the past. The other thing I've noticed is that if the stitching is, or if the pattern is a bit larger, then that makes the stitching a bit clearer to read. The patterns where I have really small lettering, I have ran into some issues on those, being able to read the lettering after I'm done, but I think I also need to practice a bit more on the smaller lettering patterns. Now that I've finished up the backstitch portion of the main part of the last name, I'm going to go back through and do the loop or weaving part. Alright, I have the last name all finished up. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and take my hoop off, and then I am going to get started on the wedding date on the sleeve of the sweatshirt. Here you can see I am starting to embroider the sleeve. I'm doing the same looped or woven backstitch here, and one thing I didn't really anticipate when embroidering the sleeve of the sweatshirt was just kind of how hard accessing the stitches was going to be, since there's material on the front and then the sleeve obviously wraps around the back, so it was kind of hard to stitch on a sleeve. I haven't stitched on a sweatshirt sleeve before, but I made it work and got it done. Now that I've finished up the embroidery, I'm going to fill up a water bowl and soak the sweatshirt pieces that have the sticky dissolvable embroidery paper on them in the water to get that to come off. I've kind of been experimenting on the best way to get this paper to come off. Sometimes I feel like when it's under thick stitches, it kind of leaves like a sticky residue. So I've tried just like washing it off under the faucet. I've also tried soaking it in a bowl, as you can see here, and I haven't really decided which one I like best. Both methods seem to remove the embroidery paper, but like I said, I just feel like sometimes there's a slight residue left over, like on the floss under the stitching. Now that I've removed the dissolvable paper and I have finished the actual embroidery, I'm going to fold this up and get it boxed up so I can give it to my friend as a gift. I wanted to fold this up in a way that it would show the parts of the sweatshirt that I actually embroidered, so I wanted her to see the sleeve and the collar when she opened up the gift. My grandma is like the ultimate present wrapper, so I was trying to take a page from her book and make this look really nice, but I think I still need a little bit of practice before I become a professional wrapper like she is. The last thing I wanted to do for this project was add on some brand specific stickers. so that my friend knows that it was embroidered by myself and is a product of Grey Brook Creations. Overall, I'm really happy with how this project turned out. Thanks for coming back and watching.